So, Overwatch 2 beta. People have had access to it for a bit now. How are people feeling about this across the community? What is everyone thinking? Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But here we have a thread from Reinforce asking just that. And we see some positive things throughout it. We see some weird things about tanks that just don't make sense, about tanks not being impactful. They clearly haven't played the game. But then we're seeing some other stuff, really enjoying it. Game just feels better, faster. If I had to point out two things, sentiment that supports feel underpowered is very true. Significant amount of bugs still in the beta. Yep, definitely some bugs still in the beta, especially some UI stuff that's a problem. Horrible, okay, I didn't get access, so that's, again, someone who hasn't really been in it. 5v5 was not the problem. They just needed to get rid of Brig and Bap, then rebalance heroes each season to keep the meta fun. Not that hard. Maybe that would have worked, but they didn't have the best history with balance. It took them a while to get someone there. Feels weird. It almost feels like there's 0 tanks and not even just one, because most tanks are now just DPS with lower damage and higher health. That makes the game feel a lot less organized and every man for themselves. Okay. 5 out of 5. Great atmosphere. Would dine again. Fine. If we move on to a thread that's reinforced, sort of summarizing the previous one, sentiment seems to be overwhelmingly positive, aside from bugs and balance. Well, I mean, balance seems like a thing that people would care about there. I don't know that you get to generalize like that, but that's okay. I did, however, notice this comment that says overwhelmingly positive. First 5 replies I see on your original post are negative. And I actually did see that too. They've now been buried a bit more, but I did see some more negative replies that weren't just people who didn't have access or clearly hadn't played yet. So a little bit more balanced here. So we go through, we can see, okay, what is the big Overwatch subreddit thing? That's another place where people gather and talk about this game. And they're saying, hey, relax, it's gonna feel like deathmatch for a while. This was just like Overwatch 1 in its, first release, beta, beginning of the time. And that's absolutely true. We're gonna see some people agreeing with that. We are gonna see some complaints about, hey, the DPS movement speed makes it sort of so people have to relearn how to aim, and that's challenging. We'll definitely see some of that. We'll see some agreement of some of the support stuff is rough. As a Rhine main, I would rather play Overwatch 1 right now. Orisa is so darn powerful. Not liking that matchup. That's fair. Overwatch 1 felt like deathmatch during the beta, that's for sure. Okay. We can see similar things over on the competitive Overwatch subreddit. What do people feel like after playing for the first few hours? Visuals are weird, some more UI complaints there, sure. Gameplay is simply more chaotic, or at least faster. Speed buffs to the DPS, tanks more aggressive, less peel due to the lack of a second tank. Push maps look wild all the time. Sure. What else do we have? Echo main in a world filled with soldiers. I pity them. That's definitely tough. Soldier feels very good right now. Makes it a little tougher for those flyers like Echo. If we move over to Overwatch University, 5v5, people have had it. Tanks feel very strong. Cool. We've got that. Do we have another top level comment here? As a support, I feel like I can barely see the team's health bars easily, so that's a bit of a UI thing. Also, support feels way too squishy. Tank feels unkillable. DPS is still DPS. Okay, well, what if we move on to some professional perspectives on this? Lucamino, he is a support player at the pro level. We can see the beta is not too bad, besides some characters feeling a little clunky to play, but I feel like they could have just implemented all these changes, minus some buffs to tank health, and not taken a tank away, and it would have just been 10 times more fun. Well, 10 times more fun sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot more fun, but is this just coming from the fact that Lucamino's his support and he's not liking it? Is that legit that he's not liking it as a support? Well, what do other people think? Samito's down there wondering what it would have been like in 6v6. Good question. Iced has a very different perspective, another semi-pro level player. If you enjoy Overwatch 1 more than Overwatch 2, you are the problem. So he's saying some of those things like Brig Bash that got removed, like the second shield that got removed, maybe 2CP, there's some of those things that made the game less fun. They were crutches that you were hiding behind, that sort of thing. So he's calling people out there. But then we have a different DPS player, Tree, saying, maybe hot take, but Overwatch 2's beta is just so much worse than Overwatch 1. If it stays like this, genuinely wouldn't keep playing it. 6v6 will always be better than 5v5. So a bit of a around the world. Some people are liking it, some aren't. Let's move on to our last source here, which will be the Blizzard forums, the official forums, and we can see that there is going to be 3 negative threads here. Overwatch 2 was really disappointing for a couple reasons. Not having fun in Overwatch 2. Overwatch 1 is still superior. So there's at least at this level some people not liking it. I will point out that the people who are really enjoying the game are more likely to be in there playing the game. The people who aren't enjoying the game as much are more likely to stop after a few games, not be playing, go post, complain, that sort of thing. So you may be having people that there may be a silent majority that's having a great time. That said, we're like 3 days into it at this point, 2 depending on when you got access, and people have at this point had time to make posts on their bus ride to work, things like that, on their break, that sort of thing, where they couldn't have been fitting games in. And it did look pretty balanced. We definitely saw some people who really liked it. We definitely saw some people who didn't, particularly supports. That kind of makes sense with what's going on with supports right now. It's a different game for them. So what are you guys thinking? Are you enjoying it? Are you not enjoying it? Let me know in the comments down below what your experience has been like. If you're enjoying this type of content, please drop a like and consider subscribing so that you can pick this Contenders Coach brain, get up to date on what's happening with Overwatch 2, be ahead of your friends, really get some of that access to how to be better at this game. But that'll be do it for now. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Temporal out.